Hi, I'm Sharon Winsmith, a tax attorney, active investor, and your go-to resource for proven investment and tax planning strategies. In this video, I'm going to explain to you how Peter Thiel accumulated billions of dollars inside a Roth IRA account. I'm also going to tell you how you can use this same strategy as well. So this topic became very popular a few years ago when ProPublica put out an article where they talked about how Peter Thiel had basically gotten balances of billions of dollars inside a Roth IRA account. So obviously that was very intriguing because not only did he build up billions of dollars of wealth, he did it inside an account like a Roth IRA where he will never pay a dime of tax on any of that money. So I'm going to show you how you can use this same strategy to accumulate large amounts of wealth, put in assets that will appreciate significantly in value in a way that you can do that tax-free. So we like Roth IRA accounts because they are on a post-tax basis. So while you did pay tax on the money that went into the Roth IRA account, you do not pay tax on any money or any money that money makes in the future. So you can basically compound and build up significant amounts of wealth or appreciation and assets inside that account without paying any tax on those balances. So we like these tools like Roth IRAs. They're kind of a secret that the wealthy use. And certainly when I see something like Roth IRA strategies where I see a lot of very wealthy people using it, I think maybe I should be using that strategy as well myself. So this is a very popular strategy. It's not that complicated. I'm going to explain to you how you could do this yourself and also put this into practice pretty easily. So to start with, there is one thing that ProPublica got wrong when they put out this article about Peter Thiel. They also did another article after that where they said that you and I can't use this same strategy. That is wrong. We might not become billionaires like Peter did, but we've been using this strategy for years. I've done this strategy myself for years. I've worked with clients when I used to have a tax consulting firm to do this strategy. So the idea that you and I can't use this strategy too is just ludicrous. That's not right. If you're willing to invest the time and effort into learning how this strategy works, I'll show you it's pretty easy to put into practice. And no, we might not be billionaires, but we can certainly get millions and millions of dollars inside a Roth IRA account. This strategy is also not unique to Peter Thiel. There are other very wealthy, famous people who have used this strategy as well. I'm personally aware of people who have hundreds of millions of dollars inside Roth IRA accounts doing a similar variation of this strategy. Also, Warren Buffett has a Roth IRA that, has 20 million plus inside of it. So this is a strategy used by a lot of very wealthy people, and it's definitely something that you should know if you're someone who wants to build wealth in a tax efficient way. So let's go ahead and just dive right in. I want to explain to you how Peter Thiel did this, and then I'll just talk to you quickly about how you can do this yourself. So as I mentioned before, it's really not that complicated. This here is Peter Thiel. You can see that's a nice picture of him. So he basically was an early adopter of Roth IRAs. I understand that he started making as many contributions as he could early, after they were released, and this became, a tool that you could actually use. So he had been putting money into this account. I don't know whether or not I know he was doing contributions, but I don't know if he was also doing backdoor Roth IRA conversions at some point to get more money in there. But basically he got money into a Roth IRA. That's step one. It's, pretty easy. You get money into a Roth IRA. Then what he did, he is actually a co-founder of PayPal. And so he bought shares of PayPal really early because he was a co-founder. He was able to buy shares at the very beginning for basically pennies. He bought those shares inside of his Roth IRA. So you put in, whatever, you got 10 grand in your Roth IRA, you buy 10 grand worth of PayPal shares for basically nothing, and you're going to hold those shares, right? So he obviously didn't sell those shares. He held them from the very beginning. So then we know step 3, PayPal just exploded in value. It eventually went public. Those shares that he bought for pennies were worth, tons and tons of money. So at that point, when PayPal went public and the company's worth a lot of money, Peter Thiel's got those shares and the value of those shares are inside that Roth IRA account. So he pays zero tax on that. So he basically, all the money that he made on those PayPal shares inside that Roth IRA, he's not going to pay a dime of tax because it's inside of a Roth IRA account and it was bought with post-tax money. So this is really where the strategy took off. So then what did he do? He didn't stop there. He also, I'm sure at some point sold some of those PayPal shares and started to invest in other, businesses. I know he started to do the same strategy with other startups as well. I know Peter Thiel's got access to, getting early in on, companies like PayPal and other companies where we would all love to be able to buy shares at pennies on the dollar because there's really no risk if you're not paying anything for them. But he did the same strategy with other startups. And, that at that point, the value of his account just exploded. So you can't take distributions from a Roth IRA until you're 59 and a half years old. So, Peter Thiel is independently very wealthy outside of the money that was inside that Roth. I'm sure he owned PayPal shares outside of the Roth IRA account. And he, didn't need to touch that money. I'm sure he'll probably never need to touch the money inside that Roth IRA account. But just, know that he could not start taking distributions from the billions of dollars he had in that account until he was 59 and a half years old. So this is it. This is the strategy. This is exactly how Peter Thiel did this. Again, you can see it's pretty basic. It's not that difficult. So how could you do the same thing too? So you can set up your own Roth IRA account. I know that there's income limitations on who can contribute. So, most of people that I've encountered, and probably most people watching this video, might be above the income limit. So maybe you can't make any contributions to a Roth IRA directly. And we also know even if you are below those income thresholds and can contribute, you can't contribute a lot of money. So you're going to want to do backdoor Roth IRA conversions. I have a lot of other videos on that and resources on that. You need to understand how to do that. That's a way that you can get money inside a Roth IRA account, and you want to get, a good chunk in there. I'm not saying to just do, the max. You can do mega backdoor Roth IRAs and get a ton of money in there every year. You don't necessarily need to do that, but you want to get a good chunk of money inside that account that you can work with. So that's step one, get your Roth IRA set up. You want it to be self-directed. You don't want to work with like a financial advisor or anything because, that would just mess up the strategy. Set up a self-directed Roth IRA. I have mine at E-Trade. If you're when you're using a strategy, you're going to want a self-directed Roth IRA that allows you to buy alternative investments in most cases. I'll talk to you about that with step 2. But get your Roth IRA set up, get your money inside that account, and then we're going to go to step 2 where we start buying assets. So when you're using this strategy, I'm not saying that you should or shouldn't, what you should or shouldn't buy with your Roth IRA money. But if you're using this strategy, the Peter Thiel strategy, you want to buy assets that could explode in value. So not all of us, have access to no risk shares like PayPal, where you're basically paying pennies for it and there's not a lot of risk there. But you're going to want to buy assets that explode in value. I do this with cryptocurrency, crypto that I think is a good form of crypto. I think there's a lot of types of crypto out there that are not good investments, but, I understand the space pretty well. For a novice. And so I invest in the cryptos that I think will in the long term explode in value. You're making long-term investments here. These are not things, I'm not talking about like day trading and shorting stocks, like that kind of thing. I'm talking about long-term solid investments that you think the value could explode. So cryptocurrency is an example that people like to do with this. Another example is pre-IPO. So pre-IPO companies can, like PayPal, explode in value. The earlier you can buy into those companies, the better. Yes, those are very, very risky. And of course, you could lose all your money because we know, a lot of those businesses fail or don't end up going public. But I'm just showing you this is the type of asset you would want to consider if you're doing the Peter Thiel strategy. So, if you're going to start your own startup, I know a lot of people who watch my videos are actually startup founders. No, it might not become the next PayPal, but yeah, you might, if that company's going public, you've made millions of dollars on your founder shares if you set this up right. So you might want to consider, acquiring some of your founder shares inside a Roth IRA. You certainly don't want to acquire all of them in the Roth because you can't touch that until you're 59 and a half. But, good idea to diversify and put a little bit of those founder shares inside your Roth IRA. I've done this strategy with pre-IPO companies. I'm usually acquiring them at later stages. So I'm not doing like Peter Thiel where I founded PayPal and then I acquired them at the beginning, but I acquire, companies later in the stage, closer to when they're going public. I've done this inside a Roth IRA account in the past. You're going to have to use special Roth IRAs. Like something like E-Trade is not going to let you go out and invest in, some random startup company. So you'd have to come up with a platform. And if you're, you need to research that. There's a lot of different platforms. I'll talk later, in other videos about how to do that. But you can't use, any brokerage that you've really heard of. You're going to have to use special services that allow you to set up those self-directed Roth IRAs where you can make acquisitions or acquire shares of things like startups. You're not right now, at the time I'm recording this video, you can't acquire crypto through an E-Trade Roth IRA account. So you're going to need to use some sort of third-party service that lets you make those alternative investments. So step 3, you're just going to hold it, right? You're not going to sell these assets. You're going to hold them long term. I mean, I'm talking investments that when I think about like crypto, I think of it as like a 20, 30, 40-year investment. I don't really care what the price is today. I don't really care what it is tomorrow or 5 years from now. I care what it is when I'm, 60, 70, 80 years old. So these are long-term investments. This is a buy and hold type strategy. This is not a quick turnover where you're doing day trading or something like that, trying to turn a quick buck. Then, you might start diversifying. So, step 4, you could start, let's say you bought Bitcoin. I'm not saying to do that. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm just telling you how the strategy works. Let's say you bought Bitcoin. It explodes, to the moon, to $1 million of Bitcoin. Then you might start selling and diversifying and invest in other crypto or other assets. You might go out and, do some pre-IPO investments. So step 4 is starting to diversify those investments. This is, again, very much into the future. Once that value explosion has happened, then, you might look to start diversifying and selling and making other investments. And again, just remember, you can't touch this money until you're 59 and a half. So you want to make sure what's inside the Roth that you're working with is something that you don't need, right? A lot of people who use this strategy probably aren't ever going to touch this money. We like Roth IRAs because they don't have required minimum distributions. But keep in mind that, you're not going to have access to this money and you can't like borrow against it to do, other strategies and buy, borrow, die and stuff like that. So you don't want to put all your eggs in this one basket, the one Roth IRA basket. So again, this is, how the strategy works. I don't think it's very difficult, but I do think it should be, one of your tools in your tool belt for wealth building, especially if you're someone who really wants to build significant wealth, want to achieve financial freedom. This is a great strategy. I've been doing this personally myself for a number of years, and I know a lot of very wealthy, sophisticated people use this strategy as well. But just keep in mind, it's very risky. Peter Thiel could have lost all his money inside his Roth IRA if PayPal hadn't taken off and if the company had folded. So this is a risky strategy, depending on what you're going to invest in, how much control you have over those investments. So it's not just, that easy to make this work. I think the strategy itself is easy to understand, but of course, how well it performs is really going to depend on how well your investments do and how smart you are with that. So keep that in mind. There is definitely some risk here. You got to be careful. You got to understand what you're investing in and what makes sense for you. But hopefully you found this overview of this strategy very helpful. It's definitely something that a lot of very wealthy people have been using for years. And I think it's a great tool that you can build wealth very efficiently without paying any tax on those gains. So if you found this video helpful, please like the video and subscribe to our channel.